Woke up late, charts on fire, red and green like a funeral pyre. Discord screaming LFG, but my portfolio's haunting me. Spiked my coffee with regret. Last night I longed to break out bet. Now I'm broke, not broken yet. Just one more pump, I won't forget. Buy high, die huddling. The gen brain dopamine's controlling. Ride the whale or get wrecked clean. This crypto dream's a guillotine. Fake guru with 1,000 subs showed me coins in shitty clubs. Promised moons, Lambos and jets. Now I'm left with JPEGs and debts. Scalped my soul in a 5-minute chart. Market dumped and it ripped my heart. But I'll reload, I'll play to win. Even if I lose it all again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. FOMO's God, greed's the king. This crypto dream's a punk rock thing. Time in hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. Liquidation, call me sweet. Whisper welcome to defeat. No stop loss, no regrets. Code and chaos, no safety nets. Satoshi's ghost in my DMs told me to ape again and again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. If I crash, at least I tried. In this wild west of blockchain rights. I'll be trading till the lights go out. Shots are noise, but I live for the sound. One candle spike, and I'm back in town. Crypto's a fight, and I'm 10 toes down.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Hope you're having a great day today. The market's been a little boring. Let's see. Let's jump into the screen share. There we go. Pluff, how you doing, man? Brett, Constantine, Steerding. How's it going, Steerding? Constantine, these lyrics. Yeah, I wrote the lyrics, but AI did the voice. It was kind of a fun project. I kind of want to make a bunch of them. It's like different intros once in a while. But yeah, let's dive into the charts. Cosmos, how you doing? Okay, so Bitcoin has done pretty much nothing since we last spoke. We were talking about this downtrending momentum and the combination of confluences that could impact the trade, like impact Bitcoin from going any further. Like we had this previous point of control, the 50-day EMA, the 15-minute order block, and the downtrending momentum, right? So we expected for us to have a crappy climb and then a drop. And then during that, whereas Bitcoin dominance was out of free fall, I believe. Yeah. So Bitcoin dominance went down while Bitcoin was being boring. Some alts were doing okay. They did like a little bit of a brief pump, but nothing insane. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. But yeah, I'm still trying to patiently wait for the sweep down here at 111,860, where it'll take this previous low and tap into this demand zone here that came from this area of interest right here that's been kind of honored as a form of support, but we haven't really fully mitigated yet. So that's what I'm waiting for still, is evidence of support within this area of interest before potentially entering along on Bitcoin. So it's just a little waiting game. And if this doesn't get honored as support, let's say we get a break of structure instead of like a change of character reaction, Then my next area is around 109.5. Let's see if we have that on our form of support. And briefly below that, we have 108.3 that's going to be significantly stronger than 109.5 that I feel will definitely act as a form of support. This level here came from the valley area. That's about, let's see, 54 days old. So I think that, yeah, if this doesn't turn out, then we'll have about 108,000 to fall back on. I do have a limit order to accumulate more Bitcoin at 111,000, despite whether or not this gets honored as support or not. This is just for accumulation, like a spot buy, nothing, not a futures trade or anything like that. A futures trade for me, I need to see all my rules met, break it down, trading momentum, change character reaction off demand, and then I'll look at the conditions of the market and I'll jump in there. But yeah, so this is where I'm hopeful for a future setup. We can delete this now. We've hit this target. We got that expected rejection, and now let's draw our next path where we expect Bitcoin to likely go. We've got, so I'm expecting here to finally have our break of momentum. And we can click and drag this to here. This helped us with this SFP sweep, but now we might potentially have one here. I'm thinking if we're going to be that close, then we're likely going to take them both out. All right, we delete that too. Andrew, how's it going, man? My other Canadian friend. It's getting cold here, man. I don't like it. I hate Canadian winters. It's too much. I swear I'm born in the wrong country sometimes when it comes to the climate. I've never been to Florida, but I can already tell you I'm kind of a Florida guy. I need to be in heat all the time. Randy, how's it going? Great day to be alive. Appreciate your stream. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's go over what we spoke about yesterday. We already gone over Bitcoin. So if anyone who's just jumping in now, you can just go back a little bit and you can check that out. We can go over HBAR and SUI were the two that we were talking about during our trade hunting call. HBAR had a little bit more relative strength than SUI did. We were targeting here and here to see, I was hopeful for a POC retest, right? And a rejection there, but we never made it to that point. It still has relative strength over Bitcoin because Bitcoin relative to HBAR think of it like it's still around here against its momentum and its key level, right? Whereas HBAR has broken past its downtrending momentum and is creating higher lows right now. So alts, because we were just talking about how the Bitcoin dominance has plummeted, alts had a little bit more attention, so they broke their key levels before Bitcoin did. Okay, so if Bitcoin were to fall down to 112K, then HBAR would likely just come down to revisit its previous lows here and see what happens from there. We could fractalize, build a double bottom here against this previous double bottom, and build a larger macro one to allow us to honor this valley area to get to its valley area high, or at least its more macro downtrending momentum. So if we zoom out on HBAR, this is our our valley area right here. I do plan on buying HBAR within this liquidity zone here to accumulate, and then to sell and rebuy to accumulate free HBAR from there. There's just a spot trading strategy where you buy end demand zones and you sell a portion of them at your valley area high, only to rebuy again at the value area low or at key levels of support as a way of accumulating the asset for free. And when you do that, it also reduces your average more and more and more because you're using the same seed investment and repeatedly over and over again. So that's H bar. Still a waiting game. I'm really hopeful for us to get into this liquidity zone to buy it, but I might potentially be reactional depending on what happens here. So I'm gonna move this SFP line here in case we get one around this area. Sweep this low. Make sure you get your magnet tool out so it sticks right to the trend line so the price action doesn't lie to you. Okay, so that's H bar. If I were to draw a path on what I kind of want to happen for our next opportunity, it'd be something like this. Sweep of this low. Or down here on this high liquidity zone, like super high liquidity zone. All right, that is H bar. Sui was the other one that I took action on. I took a trade on this one. Gave the signal. It did nothing. So when I gave the signal here, we had our stop loss initially below the VWAP. We ended up evolving our stop loss to just below these wicks, these lows here, when we got that break of structure higher high. And then I ended up closing the trade here just before accepting a loss, because at this point, what we really wanted to have happen is acceptance into this value area, right? This more like large value area, kind of like what's going on with H bar where it's already got that acceptance. Sui failed to get it. So we're hopeful for that potential full rotation to the value area high. But we were targeting here, this supply zone here. And I had a pre-alarm set for this wick just in case we had to have an exit plan. But the sell walls were freaking massive on Bitcoin and they were massive on Sui. So I knew that, yeah, there's no way we're going to be hitting our target, at least on this run. So I just accepted the teeny tiny, basically break even after fees. It was like $1. I made like $1.30 or something like that on that trade. So pretty much nothing. So yeah, just got out before letting it hit my stop loss because it felt inevitable. Kind of like Thanos, right? It's inevitable. Jordan, how you doing, man? Please look at Ethereum. Not sure if I should cut my short from here, from the top SFP around 4,340. Let's take a peek, man. So you got in at 4,340 SFP. Oh, you took that one, did you? Nice, man. Our last SFP trade was this one. It's pretty incredible, and this one's pretty local to that area. We had the confluence of the downtrending momentum being hit. So it kind of behaved a lot like Bitcoin. Let's see, where'd you get in? You could have taken this SFP. It seems like the safer play. We can delete that. And we can delete this too. So you're looking for an exit plan. So we have a previous point of control that we're approaching at 4,219. We have this local low where you can anticipate, if you get that opposing change of character here, I would personally get out because we can go range bound between your entry point and this low. So I'll be hopeful that we don't get one and that we just fall right down to the previous point of control at 4,219. Let's see. But overall, yeah, we could completely revisit 4,075 again. I'd mark this level here. Let's pull, actually I'll just draw fib because it's right where the fib is. Right here. No, just mark the wick. Okay. All right, so we have here to be worried about an opposing change of character in case we go range bound. We have here Fibonacci, value area low, point of control, confluence. And then lastly here. So just, I'd be reactional depending on how we behave at any of these 3 zones. Here, here, and here. I think you got a really good entry, so congrats, man. That's pretty solid. Pretty, yeah, breaking this low was pretty important. So you're set. Congrats, man. You're doing good. I'll make this so it's the opacity's a little more visible so the candle's not blocked. There we go. Yeah, you're doing good, man. You're in a really good solid spot. You could actually move your stop loss to this invalidation point right here. There are new traders that'll be jumping in on this break right here. So you have trade participants behaving off of this. And their invalidation point is here. So you can rotate your stop loss from here to here, securing your gains. All right, cool. Solid job. Yeah, for Ethereum, for myself, like I'd personally be waiting for a potential like retest around here again in hopes for structural evidence of support, similar to Bitcoin's 112K level, which it's kind of approaching slowly now. So I'll set a pre-alarm for Ethereum for myself off this wick low, just to notify me that price action is going to be sweeping it. Five seconds. You want to make sure that your alarms annoy the crap out of you so you're brought to your trading desk. Mike is an H bar short. Nice. We can take a look at that. What's next? Could we please look at Link from spot, HODL perspective, as well as short-term perpetuals trading when we're done with Bitcoin and Ethereum? Yeah, let's do it. Chainlink. So for me, Chainlink's my second biggest bag. So I am hodling this thing as much as I possibly can. And I'm actually starting a new portfolio to accumulate it as well for the business. So I'm going to be planning on buying some if we manage to get to $22.99. I think we will likely get there. In this demand zone here, I'm going to be accumulating some Chainlink. And in terms of hodling, like we're really, really close to its market cap all-time high. It's probably a little bit lower than this now at $35.96. Because of its inflation of 7% per year, if you were to divide the same market cap that was in it at its all-time high around $53, sorry, it would be worth $35 today. So we're already really close to the point where it had the most amount of interest in its history, right? So we're really super close. Its development has gone up since February by quite a bit, which makes a lot of sense because the partnership deals that it's having is like with banks and stuff like that to allow them to have their own networks and allow us to put Bitcoin in our banks. So you're starting to see that regulation is going to allow Chainlink to thrive. And yeah, for the next big key area for potential resistance is 31.62. But I'm just going to hold this until we get past the previous all-time high, despite what the market cap all-time high is. Okay, this thing's going to do really well this cycle. I think the next big leg up is going to be intense for Chainlink. When we get above 31.53, this previous like all-time high valley area, this bull market valley area here, this one's about 398 days old. If we get above this, we have an active support. It becomes like low gravity from here, like super low gravity. There's not very much volume. We could have a sweep problem here at like 38.42, a reaction from there. But other than that, that'll be like the last little final boss, this zone here, before getting to its all-time high. Yeah, my goal right now is just to accumulate more of this thing, for at least on the business side. The personal side, I'm set. I sold my seed investment already at $30. When we lost this momentum, like I saw like that we had like a giant sell wall here at this valley area high. I was basically targeting this valley area high when we got acceptance into this previous valley area here. And they sold it during this consolidation. Tons of warnings in the lower time frames to get out there. So we got to anticipate that to be a problem again. We can mark this level for legacy SFPs. In case we get one, that could be a good exit plan as well for anyone's trying to accumulate more. I know it sounds weird, but you can sell to accumulate more. If we get that sweep and we have a harsh rejection off of it, you could sell some of your Chainlink and then rebuy at support to get yourself more free Chainlink. Locally, let's take a peek. We just hit this level here. We had a SFP off that high. And then it was at a previous valley area high right here. We're constructing our own valley area right here while also trading within a previous one. So we have this valley area high to this valley area low, and we're just trading within it. We can actually delete some of this previous data because it's not going to be helpful to us anymore very soon. But we lost momentum here. We got the SFP here. And we're just kind of like stabilizing off the valley area high as support. Let me update this poll. There we go. And now that we updated it, our previous valley area high is in line with our current one. So we can now delete this because it's not going to be helpful anymore. And we can just mark this level right here. Now, there isn't really a term for that, but we can call it like an overtake, like a valley area overtake, where we take over the previous valley area data because they tend to be in sync again. When you see a previous range in the past and price action gets there again, like we tend to range there and then create a very similar valley area structure. Like the behavior is almost identical. That's why it gives you such an edge when you see that acceptance into a previous valley area. You know where price action is likely going to head next, right? Or what kind of behavior to expect based on previous valley area volume shelves. If we lose this point of control, we'll fall into this valley or volume gap right here. The way I kind of teach valley areas is almost like you're dropping a marble right here, and it just falls down a hill quickly and then slows down again, right? So we're kind of waiting for price action to close here so that marble drop occurs, and then we'll slow down around here. And we have the confluence of an hourly order block here. But I'm kind of fairly confident that we'll just come right down to the valley area low if we lose this point of control. But that is Chainlink. So it's looking, it had relative strength. That's why right now it has some relative weakness, right? Everything it had, it pumped up while everything else was kind of like falling. So it's at an area of resistance while everything else is kind of approaching support. So we might see it have some relative weakness. Even if other assets are coming up, I think that there's a possibility that we can come down to this valley area low. At least statistically, that's what's more likely to occur. Price action is 80% more likely to range than it is to trend. Okay, so yeah, a break of this point of control with the full body close, we're looking for a move to roughly around here. If we instead consolidate above this point control and we break this previous high, let's see if we can find any barriers of concern first before I say anything. Yeah, here's the one that we were just talking about here from back in, to grab that. Cool. I don't think I had that in sync properly. There we go. Yeah, so if we do get that continuation, we just got to watch out for that little sweep here with this previous point control barrier confluence. So we can hit our head here and come right back down, just creating a range extension, right? That's the bearish case scenario if we were to get that continuation. If we instead come up, have that previous point control act as support, and get that higher high, then I think that we could be approaching 31.44 right here. So this is our scenarios. I know there's 3 different scenarios, but we just got to be, if A happens, we do A, if B happens, we do B kind of stuff, right? So this one would be the more common reaction, like losing this point of control and coming down. Now that we're down in the 15-minute time frame, we could see that clear image of distribution, like the head and shoulder structure. And its measurable target is basically the value area low. Yeah. So if we were to mark a key level, it'd be right here for a full body candle close at 25.49. All right, what is next? We got pump from JDR things. We can take a look at that. And then we will look at H-bar for Mike. Jeff didn't get the notification that, oh man, sorry man. We'll check, message me on Discord and we'll see if there's a issue with your notifications on Discord. Yeah, it was kind of like a last moment thing. I saw that the order books were kind of getting flooded with sell orders. We have, okay, so we're looking at pump for JDR things. Got to go to my Bitcoin chart for that and then search up pump. Go on Bybit. Okay. All right, so yeah, pump, when we were last looking at it, we saw this like inverse head and shoulders structure. We broke out. We were hopeful for a retrace down to here. We instead got the retrace to this previous value area high, got the break of structure higher high, and then from there, we hit our supply zone, and it did what we expected to do. We just didn't get the full retrace that we wanted. This was likely a golden pocket level. It looks like an order block as well. So we delete this. Take that. And this has been mitigated, but we can adjust it to here. If we lose this level, here we marked a rotation to this previous value area low. Let's zoom out really quick. Oh, it's based on this value area data here. Oh, we can delete this too. No longer helpful. Let's actually update this chart a bit. Need our fixed range from here to here for next time we return to this area. We got this value area data. It's in line with the current price action, so it's not going to be helpful anymore because we have the current price action kind of giving us the same structural warnings. Let's see. that looks like it. Yeah, that's about it. So if we get this low broken, we'll have full acceptance into this value area. We'll get that rotation back down to 0.0025 here. We could potentially get a higher low and double bottom break based on the positioning of Bitcoin and its active positioning. It did have a little bit of relative strength against Bitcoin last night. So as Bitcoin approaches 112K, it doesn't technically need to take out this low. So I'll be preparing for more of a bullish case scenario than a bearish one. We do have that head and shoulders kind of posture up here. That could bring us down to these lows. I'm going to market fib from this low to this high. We're on that gold pocket now, actually. Okay. We'll see if this holds. Our pullback key level here. Get that change of character if we get a full body candle close here. We could SFP and come back down lower. If we do get that change of character reaction, might be a short-lived move. We got the VWAP in our face, so we need time for the VWAP to catch up to this key level, or else it might likely be a problem with your trade setup. Yeah, we'd have to watch here next if we do get that break. I think there's more. Yeah, we need more consolidation to build liquidity. But we do have a good liquidity path here. Yeah, that downtrend momentum is likely going to be a problem. If we come down, then we have these lows here that we can find support off of as well. Nothing too exciting that I can prepare you for yet with this. I think we just need more structure. We're resting right now on its local golden pocket. Let's see if that's enough for it to induce the break of this change of character. But it's just, there's a lot of barriers. So even though I got this key level marked for the change of character, we'll have to watch the VWAP that could interrupt the trade. We have this supply concern that could interrupt the trade. And then we have our next following up supply concern in line with this momentum here. So it's a matter of like, I'd prefer if the VWAP were to catch up, then you wouldn't have to worry about that barrier. You can use the VWAP confluence on the break. I think there might be better assets to trade today. If you're looking for longs, there might be better opportunities. But if you're a holder of this, then you at least know that if A happens, then there's a possibility of this occurring. But this is one of those ones I would step away from. Let's see. SUI, okay, an H bar. So you're in a short on H bar. And we got that internal SFP up here. Oh, this indicator is kind of handy, eh? So we got, you're in a short. Yeah, right now we're trying to test this previous high as support. Let's go to the lower time frames. Gives me a little bit of pump vibes, but not as much barrier concerns. Oh, we got to get our VWAP on here. Where did my VWAP go? Okay. Volume weighted average price. I remove my upper and lower bands. My bands fill, adjust the view up to orange, and I make it thicker, make sure I notice it on my screen here. We're below the VWAP on H bar. The VWAP is in line with its supply concern, and it's in line with the 15-minute order block. We just had a bullish SFP here off this previous low, previous high, sorry. It's giving me the same kind of similar vibes as pump.fun. Like if we, not pump.fun, sorry, just pump. If we get, that lower low, then I'll be looking here like we were talking about before. So that could be an exit plan for you. If we break above this high, you might consider taking some off the table. I'm not sure where your entry is. Hopefully it's off of one of these local or legacy SFPs, because you would have a lot of distance from your entry right now to prepare. If we get a full body close above here and we get above the VWAP, I'd personally be taking, I'd be closing the trade entirely, in hopes that, we don't get above the VWAP and then we close below here so you can hold your trade. I hope that helps you out, man. But yeah, Travis, Head and Shoulders. I guess we looked at a couple of those, but if you're wondering what a Head and Shoulders is, just let me know. What's the point of making crypto inflationary? There's a lot of reasons to make crypto inflationary. It could be to help pay your team. You create a supply that can go into like a treasury that pays your team. You could make it inflationary to issue out rewards, like for example, Pancake Swap, Uniswap, all that stuff. You don't want to make it too inflationary, because then the price will be in a forever downtrend, no matter how much money goes into it. Kind of like Pancake Swap and Uniswap, those are going to be like forever downtrends unless they change their tokenomics. And knowing inflationary data, it's really important to know whether or not you want to hold that thing long term, right? It might have short term utility with inflationary attributes that could help you make money, but it's a warning sign telling you that this is not something that you should hold for 4+ years, right? So that's why it's insanely important to make sure you understand the tokenomics of an asset. Let's go over Filecoin, for example. Like Filecoin is a really good example of inflationary harm that will make you stay away from it for a long-term hold. Like you might have, let's go on the daily here. So this thing has gone to $238 depending on the exchange. But if you were to put that same amount of money into Filecoin today, it'd only be worth $19. So this tells you that some assets will never reach their all-time high ever again, even if they had more investor interest, right? So just be aware that some assets are just not good for holding long term, and they're just mainly meant for utility. But yeah. So for like Filecoin, like I hold some Filecoin. There's nothing wrong with holding it. Just be aware that like you're not holding this thing forever like you'd want to do with like Bitcoin, for example, where it has the tokenomic structure to allow it to constantly grow in value, right? If you look for assets that are deflationary, then you can have less investor interest and it still create all-time highs. So it's really good to hunt for deflationary assets because they can help you a lot, or anything with a deflationary plan like Cubic. Cubic is having a huge deflationary spike soon. With its halving event, it's going to be increasing its burn structure from 15% to 55%. So if you're interested in finding a deflationary one, the two that I hold is Karma, and I hold Cubic. I just sold my Cubic seed investment, despite me knowing that there's going to be like a halving event coming up soon. That usually induces a drop. So I sold my seed investment to hopefully rebuy at a lower price from where I sold it, to then give myself more free Cubic, basically. But yeah, what's next? We got Kyle, do you use cumulative volume delta as extra indications on your top for your TA to take trades? I haven't been using it for my short-term trades, no. But I'm very interested in like mastering it. It's one thing that I haven't completely learned yet. So it might be something that I add in the future, because I know that there are some elite traders that use it. So I'm thinking about learning it, mastering it, so then I can teach it to you guys or use it myself, right? If I don't use it myself, then it'd be something cool to teach to you guys. Do I use open interest? Yes. I use it in Confluence for some of my setups for sure. It's something that you should always take a peek at, even if you don't use it a part of your strategy. Just be aware of the open interest. It can tell you if things are overheated or not. What about Solana perspective? Yeah, let's take a peek. Solana is the SFP champion. So we were last looking at it. We were looking at these key levels where we could prepare for an SFP sweep. We did get one here, but it was fairly short-lived. We just hit a little bit beyond the measurable target. So let's delete this, get this out of the way. So we got this legacy SFP. The target would have been here, right? You always want to look for the areas that would induce a change of character, right? Where's the strong low? The strong low is under attack when you have an SFP, right? And we had that strong low under attack. We broke through it, and now we came down, bounced off of this previous high at support. Then we got that break of structure, like, and came right back up. Built this awkward, this is not a diamond, but looks like a bat signal here. Let's delete this, delete this. Right now we're trying to, it's giving me the same kind of vibes as H-bar and, what was the other one? Wasn't Chainlink, not Sui. But yeah, anyways, it's holding off of a previous Valerie high that's kind of influenced the price action quite a bit since we built this. Lots of support and resistance off of it, and we're trying to find support off of it again. We do have this downtrending momentum right here that we can monitor. Where's our change of character? Right here on the 15-minute. This is our change of character. So we have that break. We do have quite a bit of distance away from the VWAP, which is a negative and positive thing. So there's two ways you can look at the VWAP. You can look at it as a barrier, but you can also look at it as a magnet, right? And when you have a decent deviation away from the VWAP and you see that setup, it can help attract the price action to at least this level. But then this level is going to become a problem and you got to find out and monitor it to see if there's going to be a continuation or if it's just going to bring it right back down, right? We have 30-minute and 50-minute order block confluence. We got a little bit of supply. So we got to be cautious that if we do get that break, it might be a short-lived move. But overall, I would be targeting these extreme highs here around $89 or $190 for a potential new sweep above these highs here. So similar behavior of what we just saw in this area. We got this lower high and then it swept that lower high, got the SFP, and then you'd be targeting at least here. But luckily, yeah, that scenario where we got that continuation at least to the value area high. And if you're still in on a short from here, this is your big warning sign telling you to get out if this breaks. Because it would put your trade, you'll threaten your trade to be knocked out of the race. If we instead of getting that change character reaction and we get that acceptance to this value area with a break of structure, we could come down to this previous value area low at 178.89. There's a 15-minute order block here. There's some decent confluence here for a long if we did get down there. We do have some decent support here though with that previous point of control. So just be aware that the behavior of the pathing would look probably something like this, and it might not get you the R&R that you need. Bounce, hit our head at the value area high, close below the POC. We get that close below there, then we'll lose this previous high, potentially acting as support, and the 15-minute order block and the point of control. So you'd have decent confluence for a short if we close below this point of control to bring it down to here. So it's all based on what the R&R would be if that were to occur. So we have this path. We have this area of interest for potential longs. And we have this change of character reaction. We can watch, see if we hit our head here and hope for the rotation to here. That is Solana. Hope that helps you out. Let's see. Karma is what I'm going to hold for long term. Looking good. Yeah, Karma's got some relative strength, and it's likely just because it has low market cap right now. But let's take a peek at Karma's price action. I just pumped it myself 7% yesterday buying it. But yeah, we're starting to get that break of macro downtrending momentum from its all-time high in April 2024. We're above the Valley area high from here. This consolidation that we've been consolidating in for a little while now, 417 days. Like, what's really nice about its consolidation is that you're still accumulating more of the asset, whether you're trading it or not, because of its tokenomics system, right? So every trade that occurs, you're earning more and more and more karma. I actually just updated my portfolio when I bought some. So in total, yeah, I invested about $1,900 into karma. I have 51,000 of it. And out of that, 280 of that supply was free, just from the reflection rewards. But my goal is to own 5% of the entire supply. And the reason why I want to do that, I know that's a crazy goal. I want to own 5% of the supply for the company so that I can issue out giveaways to you guys on within the Discord or on YouTube and stuff like that. And maybe even to some strangers on the street for some YouTube videos too. So, but yeah, that's my goal. Because if I own a huge amount of supply, then I can collect a decent amount of the rewards. Because it's based on your supply-based ownership. And I got, these are my goals for these different assets. So for Bitcoin, my goal is to own 1 Bitcoin with investment of $25,000 through spot trading. My goal is to own 5 Ethereum with a $10,000 investment, 1,000 Link with a $10,000 investment, 10 Solana with a $1,000 investment, 2,000 XRP with 1,000, and 2,000 Cardano with 1,000. And I'm gonna be adding more to this as well. But this is gonna be my goals, and you guys are gonna see that in the spot trading channel. My actions I'm gonna be taking, most of them are gonna be limit orders, so it's be fairly passive. So if you're a busy dude and you work a 9 to 5, then you'll see that occurring here. And I'll give you guys access to this as soon as I get some of these errors fixed. I got to get an API connection to this chart so that we can get the price feed for Karma on here. At least until it gets listed on CoinMarketCap, and that application has been submitted already. So we're just waiting for the approval. It takes about 30 to 90 days. How is the upgrading Porch project going? Porch, I upgraded the wasn't the porch, it was my driveway. My driveway was basically a garden. I had to go like once a week to mow my driveway because how bad of a shape it was. I did record some stuff so I can show you guys like a YouTube short because it looks so much better. I feel like Rick and Morty, you know that scene where like Morty is just standing on that super level surface and he's just freaking right out. Like that's what it feels like now with the new driveway. It's pretty intense. But yeah. All right, so that's Bitcoin. We went through Bitcoin, Solana, HBAR, Sui, Ethereum, Chainlink, Karma. Anything else you guys want? Oh, and Pump as well. Anything else you guys want to look at? I got about 10 more minutes before I got to jump off and work on some other projects. And I know there's a delay, so as I say something, you guys are getting it like 10 seconds later. Let's look at the on-chain data really quick. XRP and DOT. Okay, cool. So once I'm done looking at this, I want to see if it's updated any new data. Thanks for the tip, Costine. Appreciate it, bro. let's see, relative unrealized profits and losses. This is taking a dip. We're down at 1.18 now on the REPL chart. Extending our bull market target. You know, once this, I'm telling you guys, once the 1.74 level breaks, it's going to be intense. We're going to have a wild move up, but it's going to, not without price suppression. We're probably going to see the price be suppressed as much as possibly can. Whenever you see those 3,000 Bitcoin sell walls, you know that they do not want the price to surpass that level, right? They're going to induce a range as much as they possibly can so they can accumulate at these prices before it gets wild. So yeah, watch 1.74 level like a hawk. Okay, so Remos. Let's look at XRP for you, man. Now for my personal portfolio, like I barely own XRP, which is a bit of a bummer because I held that thing at 11 cents. And at that time, I didn't have a full control over my emotions as a trader and as an investor. So the SEC case battle like scared me out. I sold at a profit, but if I were selling at today's prices, it would be a whole other story. Yeah, we got this downtrending momentum here, and it's been trying to hold off of the previous highs as support, this value area high here, which is great. It's trying to build, it's trying to consolidate for a new leg up potentially. And the structure, like right now, it's like a reset bound structure, right? Whenever you see it, that's what bull flags basically are, right? You can have a structure like that. These are great resets, right? People are taking profits, or stacking liquidity, or taking liquidity, preparing us for a move at least to a previous high. If we fail to create the higher high, then we have a double top. If we get that higher high close, then we have a strong continuation, and we use the mast to define our potential momentum. And right now, like I have a wild target for XRP, despite not being a holder. It's like around like $7 to $12, and that's based on the measurable target of this bad boy right here. It's massive. But we're getting that what's called a confirmation formation, where you see a mini-me version of the structure that just broke, right? We're getting that mini-me version right now. And these are great warning signs that we're about to get that blast off. So I'm hopeful that we hold this neckline here so we don't build a large double top confirmation and get acceptance to this value area. Because if we get acceptance to the value area, we could fall quite harshly down to $2 again. With this giant volume shelf as a barrier first, of course. That's worst case scenario. Let's go into the local price action though. See what's doing. We were talking about us potentially hitting our head here, and we hit our head there. We built a head and shoulders. So we literally hit our head here. We got the measurable base target. We have yet to hit, kind of just consolidating within this little mini value area. This is a very young value area, so don't take it too seriously, but it's still important to watch. We're basically bounced off of this value area low. If we break this value area low right here, then we'll likely hit that head and shoulders measurable base target down here at 284, which would work really well in confluence with Bitcoin coming back down to 112K. We can move this from here to here. It's no longer helpful. We can convert this to an SFP wick level. All right, and we'll leave this here. We'll adjust this to our previous value area low. We'll adjust this to our previous value area high, which is also, might as well just move this to here. This is going to be our change of character level. And we can delete this because we mitigate that supply concern right here. So if we do get this change of character reaction, we could target here again. I'll be mindful of this wick level here in case we sweep it and come down. It's basically the top of this little supply concern, or the bottom of this one. So we have two levels interacting with each other through this wick. So be mindful of that level. Get my VWAP on this chart. I don't know why my VWAP is missing on some of my charts. Oh, perfect. Okay, so if we do get that break, we'll have the VWAP confluence. Let's get this. There we go. But yeah, you would prefer, if you want to be entering longs, to be doing so down here, of course. But we might have that initial run up if we break this, get this change of character, because we'll have the VWAP confluence. So the VWAP will be on our back as soon as we break here. Watch out for the sweep. Aim for here. If we get below this value area low instead, we have this measurable target. But I'll be looking for the measurable target. By the way, it's super reactional to see. You got to watch these levels because I know most people don't see them because they're not ever correlated with, they're very rarely correlated with market structure because they're momentum bound targets. But spot traders react to them quite often. So they'll sell their assets like here, and then they will rebuy them here, and that rebuy creates a reaction. So just be aware of that. And you'll see it. The more you study formations, I know a lot of people bash on formations all the time, but the more you study them, the more you realize their measurable targets have usually really good reactions off them because of the spot trader reactions. So we could get that bounce here, but I'll be looking for, I would prefer to have the long around here. See, I wouldn't short this personally. I would see this as a continuation warning, not a jump into a short thing. Unless there are structure that defines that, of course. If you jumped in on a short from this break or from any of these highs from the failure of the creating a higher high, like double top reaction, then this is just a warning sign telling you stay in, and this is a warning sign telling you should probably get out. It'll help you hold your trades. All right, and we have, lastly, this momentum that we recently kind of broke. Oh, if you have it wick to wick here, it's still kind of in line. Buy to buy has been broken, wick to wick has not. Okay, Dot from Pluff. Let's see what Dot's doing. Okay, so Dot, this was our key level that we wanted to have broken. Let's see if we rotated and got a better one though. Do we have a better one? Yeah, you could see this as a good key level here. We didn't really have a healthy pullback on the 15-minute, but on the 5-minute, you could use this as a good change of character level. So it depends if you're using the 5-minute or not. This would have been probably one of the best entries. Didn't really have an SFP here or anything like that. So yeah, this probably would have been the better entries. 50-minute structure, this is the better one here. Kind of get that inverse head and shoulders. Broke downtrending momentum. So this could have rotated from here to here. Either way, this is a good key level to watch for supply. And we end up breaking through it, had it act as support, and now we're kind of like bouncing off it again. So it's giving me the same kind of vibes as XRP and I think it's Solana. Yeah, Solana getting that break now too, guys. XR, so Dot right now, we're hitting our change of character level now. We'll see if we get that SFP or if we get the change of character. SFP would occur if it closed as is or a little lower, right? If we had that body close instead, we get the change character. And then we can start targeting these highs. we could pull a, like right now we're also bouncing off of the macro valley area low. This is like, honestly, historically, some of the best areas to accumulate DOT is where we are. We zoom out on the daily. I know I do this every time we're on a live, but this is a strong, like 1,000+ day old valley area where it's historically the best place to accumulate to prepare for that rotation up to the valley area high, which is at $7.50, and the extreme high is at $11. I'll be very, very, very curious to know if whether or not we'll build structure up here for continuations to see if we'll actually get break out of this range, but I'm not counting on it. Like honestly, I'm a holder of DOT, but I've got a strong exit plan around here. Like I'm getting ready to get out. If I see any evidence of weakness, I'm just going to take the gains because that's like a 3x from here. Or close to a 3x. Zooming back in. We do have this downtrend momentum as well that we got to be watching out for. We haven't hit the measurable target yet of this structure, which is here. So this could just be a pullback for a potential continuation up to actually have that target hit. There's also some wicks here. We could potentially prepare for a sweep down in confluence with that downtrending momentum. So overall, like if we do get this high taken, I would prepare for that continuation, that break of structure, for higher time frame break of structure for a move back up to here. But that is DOT. We had a request for ENA from Dias. I don't think we have an ENA chart, so we have to search it up. Pull it up on Binance. Last time we were looking at ENA, we had this downtrending momentum drawn. We have this valley area high, point of control, valley area low. It's not pulling up the valley area data though for some reason. There's a pull from here to here that it's not showing us, but that pull, yeah, we have the valley area lines at least marked. So we broke momentum. We dipped a little bit above our key level actually. So this thing, yeah, mitigated a little bit more of the supply here, but we never really got that follow through. So now we come back down to at previous valley area low again, where we found support last time. Downtrending momentum right here, and we got our new level right here. So this thing's a little bit wonky, so just be careful. Like if we do get that change of character reaction, we still haven't taken out that low yet. So higher time frames, we got the change of character, but we still respected the strong low so far. So if we get that break, we could get that return back up to these highs. Watch this as resistance. It looks like there was a sell wall here based on this behavior. So a big player was trying to exit their bags, or multiple traders were in line with each other preparing to exit. Got that like head and shoulders posture, or triple top, sorry. Confirmation, and came down, and we haven't really hit its target. But, oh yeah, we did. Okay, yeah, we hit that target. So close above here. Be mindful of the VWAP. There's some assets that have good placement with their VWAP where it's in line with their change of character level. But unfortunately, ENA is not one of them, so you have to watch this like a hawk. It could induce a pullback, retest, and then higher high if we do get that break. If we lose this valley area high as support, then our previous plan will likely play out. We'll just move this here. And we can see it potentially rotate all the way down here. But this is pretty bearish, considering Bitcoin's placement is, we're trying to find support at the 112K level. Like, I don't think this is going to occur if, based on Bitcoin's positioning, unless this thing has massive relative weakness for some reason. So pathing suggestion, hit our head here, come back, retest, hopefully retest, and not just plummet, and target here, and watch to see if there's a sell wall there too. And if we do get that break for a continuation up, then this is where we'll be targeting, but we'll be very cautious of this local resistance here. And that's ENS. Just watch that supply concern. We have a little supply concern here, and that's our overall macro target for like a swing bound move. This is the scalp based move here. Let's go back to Bitcoin's chart, see how it's doing. Yeah, it has a lot of control over ENS. You can tell. You got liquidate on H bar. What's going on H bar? How'd you get liquidated, man? Weren't you the one in the short? You're in a short. But you must have just entered that short, man. Yeah, this was the last short opportunity was over here. Yeah, reach out to me, man, if you're struggling. I can help give you some tips to help you out. Can we look at, okay, we got Dax wants to look at, I don't know if he spelt it right. ASAX? Okay, so AVAX is what you meant, right? Okay. When's the last time we looked at AVAX? July 25th. It's been a while. Not very much development going on in AVAX in comparison to some of the other network tokens. A lot of noise on my chart here. Sorry about that. I got some stuff I should remove. We don't need this. This previous value area data helped us a bit through here, but we got new data to help us with that now. Delete that. Delete this. Yeah, we got one large value area here. We mitigated to here. Double distribution. When you see a B, that's double distribution. That's when you expect fast moves and basically localized value areas. So we have likely a lot of localized value areas here and some here, quick moves here, and here as well. Right now we just bounced off of the value area low. Like this in itself is its own value area as well here. We are hitting our head off of this previous, like the supply concern here, this previous low of the supply. The point of control is here as well. It's got a decent relative strength. It's doing its own kind of thing. As if we were to maintain this momentum, which AVAX kind of tends to like to do from value area high to value area low and vice versa. And it's suggesting that we could hit the value area high within the next 3 days. We get our horizontal array out, mark our point of control. So we're going to go into lower time frames in a second. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, some relative strength for sure. Like XRP is breaking its. We got DOT breaking its level. We have Solana breaking its level. HBAR breaking its level. AVAX broke its level too. So we're all getting changes of character right now. It's just those VWAPs might keep you out of your trades. Because all they can do, they can induce a continuation back down. like this, right? Like this is not something I personally would trade. But if we can expect pathing from this, right? So if you're in a short, these are great for preparations for exits. So if we have a move here, get above this VWAP, we could target this wick level and watch out for the point control. So we have some confidence to hit our head again here, but in hopes we get a full body candle close instead. So if we get that full body candle close instead, then we'll have that proper higher time frame break of structure, and it can give us that rotation, start that rotation back up to these highs. But we have two really strong supply concerns. And we mitigated some of this one, so let's go up to here. Send this back, make this red, and let's clone it. All right, so these are going to be our two big primary concerns for swing traders. Anyone who's a swing trader who may have gotten in at this double bottom, change of character, break of momentum, right? This is where you would prepare for that long-term trade up to here. This is going to, from here, it's about a like 5-day trade. Yeah. But yeah, this is the main boss for most swing traders when you're trading a large range that is, I don't know, like 30 days plus. This one's likely 60 days. 41 days. Okay, it's 41 day. So for the 30-day plus like value area, even though it's a massive range, you don't really treat it like a range trade when it's it feels more like a swing trade because some of these trades will last over sometimes a week or so. So if you do get this high, break above this point of control, prepare for resistance here again, or resistance here as well. So if I were to draw the pathing, full body candle close above this high, the point of control would act like a really good barrier. So this is a less likely scenario if we get above the point of control, but still got to be cautious that it could occur. And then we have this here. Which would more likely occur way over here. See, the VWAP's already causing troubles. We came up, get some buyers coming in. Got to buy shadow wick, popping the price off a bit. Getting that on pretty much everything. This one's not tested as VWAP though. Next request was virtual. We have a virtual chart. Last time I was asked to look at it was the 5th. Ooh, that's steep. Like a move though. That was a decent move. Too bad we weren't looking at virtual yesterday, man. Downtrend momentum. Ever since we hit our head off the 200-day EMA, that 50-day EMA is insanely close to crossing over the 200. You might get reactional sellers from that when you have a death cross. There are automated bots that exit people's positions when these cross. And the opposite's true when they cross upwards. When they get the golden cross, automated algorithms will buy into the asset. They might not be doing it for virtuals, but still got to prepare for that kind of reaction. So right now we're bouncing off of, trying to build support. We're fractalizing double bottoms right now, right? We got this double bottom posture here, double bottom posture here, and a more macro one here. We have confluence of this neckline being alongside the 200-day EMA. So if we do get the squeeze, cause us to break to the upside, then we got to watch this because it could induce a range. But if we do get that break, the momentum bound move should bring us up to here. If we get that measurable base target from here to here, bring us to the supply concern right here. We can delete this. We can delete this because we have inline structural barriers along with that. So that data is like redundant. We already know that this is a supply concern. And here. And this little guy is the one that started it all right here. Well, that's mitigated now. Okay, so a macro vision for virtual, like we could have almost a 2x accumulating around these lows. So try to find low time frame positions of strength around this demand zone to front run this break, and hopefully the domino effect will bring us up to here. There's a lot of buy side liquidity likely resting here. We can see that based on the order flow, there should be lots of stops, high liquidity here. That can induce, it could pump all the way up to the neckline at least. Let's go into lower time frames, see if there's anything we can use. We have this previous high trying to act as support. Just local support. And we got this downtrend momentum. I think there's a really good opportunity here. You just gotta wait for the moment. So I really like to front run this move. We'll keep an eye, yeah, let's keep a close eye on virtual. As a community, we'll see if we can find a good solid entry, even if it's just a spot buy, right? Because we can get a move to almost $2, like $1.87 is the measurable target. But this is the big boss right here, right? We have this 200-day EMA, 50-day EMA, supply concern, all one spot. So if we break past that, we're going to blast off to those highs. To be a violent move, most likely. But yeah, it's kind of looking like a lot like everything else in the sense where we have this descending drop, trying to get that change of character. It has some relative weakness right now, likely because it just had this massive aggressive pump and people are taking profits. So it's, as everything else is kind of breaking their levels, this one's not. The levels that we are looking at, they're not like significant levels. That's going to give us a massive move or anything like that. The only way it would give us a bigger move is if we break these highs past their measurable targets. But yeah, keep an eye on virtuals. This is our key level here. That can induce a move up, but we have supply concern here and VWAP confluence that we have to monitor. We have to babysit this trade if we jumped in on it. I'm kind of hopeful that we come down, similar to Bitcoin, where we're just waiting on for it to come down to 112K. I'm kind of hopeful that we come back down here to allow us to accumulate at decent prices. If you accumulated now, you're giving up about 4%, which isn't a big deal, but I don't know Virtual's tokenomics though. I don't know how inflationary it is, so I'm curious to find that out. We can find it out right now, honestly. Let's go to CoinMarketCap. Let's find that out. Because I don't know I hate not knowing. So we get Virtuals up in here. Virtuals protocol. All right, at least it has some max supply. It's getting close to it. So it is inflationary, but it's temporary inflation, whatever you want to call it. Temporarily inflationary, whatever, yeah. So I'm tripping over every word I can think of. So let's pull this up. We have our all-time high. Let's see. You guys can't see this very well. Let me just adjust my screen a bit. And I'm going to hop over here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, January 2nd, 2025, 8 months ago was $5.07. So I'm not really, this shouldn't be too big of a deal. 8 months is not that long, but we can find out just in case. So January 22nd, 2025. So we're going to go to see historical data. We're going to go over here. We'll go to January 2nd. Going way too far back. Continue. All right, we're looking for the highest market cap right here. Copy. Throw that into a calculator. So you take your market cap from its all-time high, and then you go back and you find out what its current circulating supply is. You copy that number, Control C, and you divide it into that market cap. Oh, it's deflationary. No way. Okay, I gotta do some more research on virtuals. So they must have some kind of burn mechanism with a max supply system of 1 billion. So it's suggesting that if you put the same amount of money into it today that was at its all-time high at $5, it would be worth $7 today. So it must be deflationary. Let me just check something, just in case I'm wrong. Put that market cap back in there. Let's go back to virtuals. I'm going to divide the total. I think I just divide the circulating supply and not the 461. Okay. Well, yeah, we're good. Yeah, this thing's good. Let's do it based on the max supply of 1 billion. Okay. Virtuals, look at Jasmy. You got liquidated on H bar. Sorry, man. Okay, look at Jasmy. Jasmy. Still dancing between the 250-day EMA. Okay. A little bit of virtual vibes where it's like trying to build this large double bottom posture. We can delete some of this noise. I think our last trade was on here was a short, so a little while ago. Look at the daily. So we had this head and shoulders after meeting the, I really like that. After meeting the value area high, built this double top into the supply concern. We can readjust this because now this is actually technically a new supply barrier. Just mark the whole thing actually. We have value area within a value area pole. That's funny. Let's delete this. Value area low. Yeah, this is a smiley face, but this is Batman head and shoulders. Whenever you see these guys, you look out. Because you have fractalized confluence of a double top in there. So you could front run the head and shoulders. This won't be helpful for us anymore. So yeah, we're dancing between the 200-day and the 50-day EMA. I hate trading assets that are doing that. By the way, I just step away from them until they make a decision on where they want to go. We're kind of approaching right now the value area low, where we prepare for longs to then target the value area high. But again, you're going to have to worry about not just supply concerns, but you're going to have to worry about reactions off the 50-day and reactions off the 200-day. One thing that's kind of nice right now is that this key level that we're building is in line with the 50 days. So when we break that, we'll simultaneously break above this supply concern and the 50-day EMA that could bring us up to the point of control, which is our next area of concern in line with the 200-day EMA. So a break of this level here would bring us to our next supply barrier here. If we break past that, then awesome, we can start targeting the value area high. Lots of volume gaps though along the way, which is kind of nice. So it's just a matter of dealing with these little micro barriers along the way and the macro barrier like the 50-day and the 200-day. We could get a lower low here and build something like this, which would adjust our key level. But you'd still want to have that 50-day kind of in line with it, or else it could induce a problem for your setup. But that is Jasmine, man. Can we look at SCI and Link? We looked at Link already, but we can look at SCI for sure. Just here to hit that like button. Gotta run. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to our last request for the day. I guess it'll be SCI. Yeah, SCI did similar to ENS. It just like we got that change of character. We still haven't broke like our strong key level down here, but a lot of drawdown right now. The 50-day EMA is in our face. We never got the support bounce off of it. So what you want to see occur is basically, as we draw, and you see price action come up, have on its form support, create that higher high, and then we might get that stronger follow through to here. But yeah, this thing got dragged down with everything else, so that one didn't work out. Yeah, luckily the order book kind of like warned us to get out of the yesterday's trade. Like H bar did great, but Sui was the one that kind of, yeah, that failed. But we really wanted to have that proper acceptance. And it looks like SCI kind of did the same thing, right? We got that head and shoulders warning, double top. There might have been something in the order books that could have warned you to get out too. We have that horizontal level of resistance with these tweezer reactions. A tweezer reaction is always a warning to tell you to look at the order books. If you see a tweezer reaction, see if there's a giant sell wall in the order books, because that sell wall might be the one thing that tells you that it might be a good idea to get out. We have like this descending double bottom posture being formed off of this demand zone. So we have decent confluence to prepare for longs. We have a wick level here that we need to break above with a full body candle close for a change of character. And then we have our supply concern here alongside that value area high. We have 15-minute and a 30-minute order block there as well. But SCI in general is in a good spot to prepare for potential accumulation. We might get that run up to the supply concern next. We're getting between the 200 and the 50-day EMA again, though. What is a tweezer reaction? A tweezer reaction. Let me see if I can find you some examples. They're really easy to find. A tweezer reaction is a form of lack of acceptance. I want to find a clean example for you so it's easier for you to learn. It's always when I'm looking for them that I can't find them. Oh, there's one. Two. I see two now. So this is a tweezer reaction here. An ideal tweezer reaction, you'll see like next to, you won't see any wicks, right? That doesn't mean that this is not a tweezer, but the ideal is you don't see any wicks. And you want to see, if you have an engulfing tweezer, then it's even stronger. But if you see this, it normally means there's a giant buy order preventing the price from going down. So we only can go up until that's filled. So you'll see these tweezer reactions warning you that, yeah, time to look at the order books because there could be a giant buy wall. If it's a small one, then you know that, okay, if we come down here again, we're probably going to break right through it. But if it's a big one, let's say if you're trading Bitcoin, like today's price, like 500 and up is something you really got to monitor. Between, let's say like 100 to like 300, 400, it usually takes one or two taps and then we're broken through it. But if these engulf, there are traders who have their own rules off of tweeters. Well, they'll say to themselves, I will only enter a long if I see a bullish engulfing tweezer. Or I'll only enter a short if I see a bearish engulfing tweezer. Here's another clean example of a tweezer, except it's not engulfing. In order for it to engulf, we just need to close below this level. So this is a bearish tweezer here. Here's an engulfing one. A little bit of a wick, but there's an engulfing one there. They give you really good follow through, and if you were to study value areas and tweezers, the best place to take a tweezer trade is in the top or bottom of a value area, because you'll normally get continuations to the opposite side of the value area when they occur. So that's what a tweezer is, man. If you Google them, you'll get a bunch of pictures. They'll look exactly what we talked about. They're really, really easy to learn and understand. Like you can understand them all in probably like a quick 5-minute lesson. If you find like a 30-minute video about tweezers, that person might not understand them. Like it's like there's not that much to it. Okay. But yeah. Here's another good one here. Right here. If they engulf too much, because with the tweezer, your invalidation point is it's just like an SFP. Like an SFP invalidation point is the wick, right above the wick. You can give it a little bit of breathing room in case you get like a double sweep. But with tweezers, your invalidation point is like right below it, because you have that buy or sell wall usually protecting you. Okay. You have a bottom target for 0.27564 potential reversal. What do you think? Are you talking about H bar? No, you're not. What price? What are you talking about? SCI. Yeah, SCI. Okay. So you have a bottom target for 0.2756. We have a 200-day EMA that around there. Previous value area low at 2735. I think we might hit the bottom prior to that, man. I could see your reasoning to prepare for there for sure, but we have a lot of barriers in order for us to get there. We need to break past this low, or liquidity likely could induce a move back up. We have the 200-day EMA, we have the point of control, and the previous value area low. In between, okay. Yeah, I could see your reasoning for sure. Just be aware that we do need like three or four things to occur before that happens. It could be, but if you're doing a short-term scalp, I would not be targeting there. If you're doing like a long-term, waiting for a potential buy, then yeah, that makes sense. If you're in a short right now, you'll probably get knocked out before hitting that target. All right, guys, I gotta head out. Hopeful for more structure. I'll give you guys a signal when I find something safe. I'm not too confident in these moves that we were talked about. Like I said, there's a lot of barriers along the way. We'll see what happens. Virtuals is what I'm keeping an eye on now that we looked at this. Like I'd really like to just do a spot 2x hold. And yeah, Bitcoin, obviously, I'm waiting for that double bottom posture inside this demand zone. Sweep of this low over here at 111.870. Ethereum kind of got a little bit of relative strength, so I'm curious to see what will occur. Ethereum's price action is a little bit choppy, so I want to see if we get down here at this previous point of control and this previous value high for potential long, or dip down further to one of our two key levels here and here for some longs. But everything else we went over, yeah, not very high confidence because the moves have lots of barriers on the way, but doesn't mean it won't happen. It's just be cautious. Make sure you're babysitting those trades a little bit. All right, guys, you have a great day. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate your tip again, Constantine. Like every live we do, I really appreciate it, man. But yeah, like, subscribe, share to your friends. When we get to the next subscriber goal of 7,000, I'll be doing a big giveaway for you guys. I'll be giving away some karma. I want to give away some Bitcoin and some LEPAL cold storage wallet, like a air-gapped cold storage wallet. That's super safe. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but this is the wallet that I use for my cold storage, so like I highly recommend them. But yeah, I already bought the wallet. So when we get to 7,000, I'll be issuing out a reward to anyone who shows up to the next live when we get to 7,000. We'll do it. We'll do like a rally or ticket thingy.